Welcome back, and the tank is now mixed. Whether or not you can see it, I don't know. So we put our own agitator on our International. It wouldn't fit on the Uncle's 188, the PTO shaft. No, it was the Slurry tanker wouldn't fit on the Uncle's tractor because there's a longer distance for the PTO shaft on our tractor than there is. It's longer reach of a PTO shaft on the Uncle's 188 than it is on our tractor, and the PTO shaft wouldn't stretch out far enough to connect to the Uncle's tractor. So we couldn't put the tanker on his tractor because that was the plan, to put the tanker on the Uncle's tractor and have the agitator on our tractor, but that didn't work. So we put the agitator on our International and we measured it. We measured how far deep, how far down the Slurry was, the top of the Slurry, which was just about 6 foot, in and around that. Our agitator was 5'4" or 5'6", so there was about 4 or 6 inches of a gap. But we thought if we put a tanker full of water into it, it might raise it up a bit, but it was only mixing the water at that point, so we had to abandon our agitator because it was too small, and we had to get our uncle's our old contractor's Maxxum, the 5130, and get his agitator back again and agitate that again. We put 2 tank loads of 800 gallons, 2 tank loads, which is 1600 gallons of water into the tank there, and stirred it up, and it only took about half an hour because there's only about 3 foot left in that. So that's that. We have that mixed ready to go, so we won't be leaving that now too long. We'll be sucking that out and spreading it onto the fields in the next coming days. The weekend, it's now Thursday, so come Friday or Saturday that will be gone, hopefully. The setup we're going using, not 100% sure. I don't think we'll be using this setup here. The brother, I think, is putting out the Slurry again for us, so he'll be using, as I mentioned, he might be using our International or the Uncle's 188 on the old contractor's 1100 gallon Slurry tanker, or he'll be using one of the old contractor's tractors on his 1300 gallon Slurry tanker. He might be able to get the 1900 gallon Slurry tanker back, but for the last couple of loads I think it's a bit pointless to get it back, so we can use one of the old contractor Slurry tankers. All the heavy lifting is done. There's only the last 3 or 4 foot left in it, so that should do. So the next time I'll update you is when we're actually have whatever setup we're going using and putting out the Slurry. So we'll see ya until then. And that's the slurry done. So hopefully you should hopefully be able to see something there. But that's all the slurry done. 2 tanks are emptied. Well, not emptied, but it's just the last couple of inches or centimeters that's left in it. So as you may have realized, that wasn't the setup that I kept bragging on about throughout this video. It was a slightly different setup, because one evening the brother just landed down with that big monstrosity of a tanker, which is slightly bigger than the major one that we had. It was a Connor 2,000 gallon ore tanker, so quite a monstrosity of a yoke. And he landed down one evening with that. He left it here at the yard for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, and then we got back at the slurry and finished it. And it only took him, because there was only about 3 or 4 foot left in that tank there, it only took him about it only took, I think, about an hour and a half, and it was about 4 loads to suck it out, go over the road and spread it out onto the fields. And it has a good working width, that tanker. I sort of footed it like this, so a rough sort of measurement, and I got a 16 foot working width, which is about 4 meters. So quite a big working distance, and quite a large capacity tanker as well. So it was a fairly good tanker indeed. So it was a Connor 2000 or Series 3 slurry tanker. I assume that's what those 3 strikes or 3 marks are all about. Has a beacon as well on the back of it, which is a fairly neat feature. It has obviously a lollipop and a splash plate. It has 3 fill-in points. There was 2 at the back, right and left side of the slurry tanker itself, and there was 1 at the side. So you've plenty of room to or plenty of options there, to depending on what side you want to fill on. Unlike the major one we had, the 1900 gallon major tanker we had, it only had a splash plate and then a fill-in point on the side of the tanker, and then 1 on the back beside the splash plate, unlike this one, which has 2 fill-in points at the back. The pump was also a fairly big monstrosity pump. Obviously elastic. It's a 2,000 gallon slurry tanker with a 16 foot spraying distance, or working distance, so it has to suck in quite a large amount at a fairly fast pace, and it has to spread a good distance as well. So it has a fairly good pump on it as well. It also has 2 glass filling points on the back of the tanker, unlike the major one that we had a couple of days ago, which only had 1, which indicates when the tanker is full. It has 1 front and back. Same as our small one, it has 1, but this one had a glass filling point halfway up the tanker to show when it was halfway, and 1 at the top to show that it was fully full, which I thought was a pretty cool feature in itself. And there's 2 on the front as well, showing you where the halfway point is and where the full point is. So that is a fairly good tractor. It took a 1900 gallon tanker to empty this tank, 12 loads, we assume about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, 2.5 hours. And then it took a 1900 gallon tank and a 2000 gallon tank to empty this tank here, because for some reason it had sort of dried up in itself, went a bit solid, so we had to mix it up again, put more water into it, and we finally have our slurry out. So at long last. But anyways, that is going to be the end of today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's something different. You don't see much of that stuff on this channel. It's usually small equipment, as you can see, but it's nice to get a bit of a change. I don't know where the brother got that tanker. I know where he got the 1900 gallon major tanker, but I don't know who he got the 2000 gallon Connor tanker from. So yeah, but anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my merch, be linked down in the description, and I'll see ya in my next video very soon. Take care.